Members, good afternoon. This is the appointed time. We have a quorum for the meeting. So I call to order the meeting of the panel on Administration of Justice and Legal Services. Welcome. Item 1 on the agenda, information paper issued since the last meeting. Paper number CB-3 518/2026-01, which is an information paper on Statute Law Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2026 provided by the Department of Justice. Since the last meeting, members should have received this information paper, so please refer to the agenda for details. The Statute Law Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2026 contains miscellaneous amendments in a number of pieces of statute laws, and we earlier discussed some incidental amendments in relation to Noise Corporation bill. This is a technical bill. The administration proposes to enact the legislation and table into the council the bill for first reading as soon as possible. So moving on to the next item, that's items for discussion at the next meeting. Please refer to the list of outstanding items for discussion. That's paper number CB-3 510/2026-01. The next regular meeting is scheduled for the 22nd of June, Monday, 4:30 p.m. And the administration proposes to discuss two items. First, latest developments of the judiciary's use of technology in court operations. Now, you may recall that we have arranged for a visit on the 2nd of June to the judiciary, and there will also be an exchange session with the judiciary. The Secretariat issued a notice to members on the 22nd of May in relation to this visit, including the itinerary and the list of participants. So do note that. And that at the next meeting, the 22nd of June, there will be a report from the administration on the judiciary's use of technology in court operations. The next item is latest progress of hosting international legal and dispute resolution organizations in Hong Kong, including the IOMAT and International Institute for the Unification of Private Law. If there are no comments, we move on to the next item, and that's Hong Kong Professional Services GoGlobal platform. I will invite the administration to come in, and please also note these two papers, members. The first one is CB-3 510/2026-02, which is a paper prepared by the Department of Justice, and also the next paper is a background brief prepared by the Legislative Secretariat. That's the same paper number /03. May I welcome Ms. Peggy Aoyang, Principal Government Counsel, Legal Enhancement and Development Office from the Department of Justice, Mr. Pan Jin, Acting Assistant Principal Government Counsel, as well as Ms. Margaret Yu, Acting Senior Government Counsel. And we also have Mr. Charles Chan, Bar Counsel, member of Hong Kong Bar Association, Mr. Roden Tong, President, the Law Society of Hong Kong, and Ms. Kelly Lam, Deputy Secretary General and Director of Practitioners Affairs, Law Society, as well as Mr. Jason Chang, Assistant Director, External Affairs from the Bar Association. Members, if you want to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. Now, if Peggy is ready, please may I invite Peggy, the Principal Government Counsel of Lead Office, to introduce the paper to us. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. I'm happy to report to members today the work of the Department of Justice in relation to the Hong Kong Professional Services GoGlobal platform, or GoGlobal platform in short, and the latest progress. Members may note that there have been more and more mainland enterprises wishing to expand the business in overseas markets, but in the process, there are pain points. They need professionals who are familiar with international rules and services which are catered for the need of mainland enterprises. We do have professionals offering professional services in Hong Kong, but then the information is fragmented and the enterprises may not have a good starting point in getting to know more about the services on offer. And this is exactly where the DOJ comes in. In December last year, we set up the Hong Kong Professional Services GoGlobal platform. In line with the 15th five-year plan, we want to give play to our position as the International Legal and Dispute Resolution Services Center so that we can leverage our advantages on professional services to help enterprises in the mainland go global. In fact, the Chief Executive in last year's policy address also directed the Department of Justice to collaborate with other professional services to meet the specific needs of mainland enterprises. Now, they should not be left to fight on their own. We need a professional services ecosystem to support them, comprising the accountancy sector, financial sector, taxation, legal, compliance, etc. We have the strength of offering internationalized professional services. We have a clear goal. We are not only the super connector, we're also the super value adder. We want to provide a safe track for mainland enterprises to go global and set sail smoothly. And we have been in touch with different stakeholders, and in the exchange process we found that there are problems in relation to dissemination of information and that enterprises may not be able to access the information very easily. So as pointed out in paragraph 7, there are two functions or two objectives. We integrate information in relation to professional services to facilitate the precise connections between enterprises and our professional services. And 2, we also enhance the sector's understanding of the specific needs of enterprises for professional services so that we can provide efficient support. In fact, we have made numerous achievements since its establishment. In January 2026, we set up an expert committee on professional services for going global. The expert committee comprises members who are experts from the legal, financial, and accounting sectors from the mainland and Hong Kong. These are the industry leaders, and in February they held the first meeting to offer strategic advice to the platform. And as pointed out in paragraphs 14 to 17 of the paper, we have been actively holding different matching activities. For example, in December last year, the Deputy Secretary for Justice led a business mission comprising 40 representatives to Qianhai in Shenzhen and exchanged directly with 70 enterprises. In February, the DSJ also attended an event in Indonesia to promote our professional services. In March this year, the SJ took another delegation to Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Nanjing, and mainland enterprises could, through these activities, learn more about the value of our professional services. In fact, we also published a panel list of Hong Kong legal services providers supporting the Go Global, with over 50 success stories included, covering different markets such as Central Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa. And for the first time, we promoted, we published a list. The panel list comprises 12 categories according to the practice areas of service providers, including compliance, taxation, and dispute resolution, so on and so forth. The list is available on our website for access easily. Well, this is the starting year of the 15th five-year plan, and our country will continue to push through the work, and we will also provide support, as pointed out in paragraphs 25 to 30 of the paper. We will continue to update the list, and we will also strive to publish the updated list by the end of this year. We'll also invite the successful enterprises and representatives to tell their stories of success. In relation to emerging markets, we'll also continue to hold matching activities for more opportunities of exchange, so that this platform can be provided for better connection. Now, I want to emphasize that we have one country, two systems. We practice common law, and we also have professionals who are bilateral and trilingual, and we have a free flow of information and capital. The Department of Justice will continue to consolidate our advantages and promote Hong Kong as a premium platform for mainland enterprises to go global. It's not just a slogan. We will continue to achieve the goal of Go Global, Choose Hong Kong. Right, thank you, Peggy. I will now invite Mr. Charles Chan, Senior Counsel, member of the Bar Council of Hong Kong Bar Association, to speak. You have 5 minutes. The Hong Kong Bar Association supports the work of the DOJ in relation to the Go Global platform in order to support mainland enterprises to go global. Apart from helping them go global, the platform also drives demand for legal services in Hong Kong. So it's a win-win. Now, in relation to barristers contained in the panel list, they have different specialties. The list allows them to set out the industries involved and the services available. For example, we have members of the Bar Association who have exposure in fintech, crypto assets, cross-boundary financial services, and digital software solutions, healthcare, as well as precious metal. Now, the list is very detailed, and it's very useful for mainland enterprises to look for service providers. It will be a very useful tool for mainland enterprises. As I understand, the Department of Justice will also publish the collection of success stories, Hong Kong professional services supporting Chinese mainland enterprises go global. And the updated list, together with this collection, will help match services in Hong Kong with needy mainland enterprises, so that we can bolster our status as the premium location for mainland enterprises to go global. In fact, Hong Kong is the premium listing hub, and in fact, from last year to this year, the market capitalization from IPO is in Hong Kong ranks the first place. Mainland enterprises are going global, and many holding companies will adopt a dual model so that they have listings overseas with core assets in the mainland. And as a result, there is an increase in demand for legal services in Hong Kong. Now, as barristers, we are not confined to work in the courtroom. We can also give advice to our clients in relation to, for example, listing of companies, market compliance, as well as advice on responding to the regulators. Our system is highly aligned with the international business rules. The barristers are not only good at the common law, they also have the vision of our country's development strategies. We also speak two languages. We can help resolve business disputes through mediation and arbitration, and we have very good foundation, and we also have the mutual recognition mechanism and mutual aid mechanism with the mainland. Barristers in Hong Kong have the edge to help solve legal problems facing mainland enterprises wishing to go global. And in this regard, we believe that in relation to more exchange with mainland enterprises and talents, now it will be very conducive to our professionals knowing more about their situation, and we'll continue to support the DOJ's activities, including a seminar held for candidates of the foreign-related arbitration talents by the Academy, and the DOJ will also lead a team to visit Shanghai, Hangzhou. In June, we'll also hold the 17th Joint Conference of Legal Practitioners in the Greater Bay Area. Now, in fact, we have taken part in over 30 activities, including common law courses run by mainland universities, as well as offering arbitration training for mainland lawyers, so that we can contribute to the legal profession in Hong Kong. Thank you. Next, may I invite Mr. Roden Tong from Law Society to speak. You have 5 minutes. Under the 15th Five-Year Plan, our country supports Hong Kong in dovetailing with national strategies and better serve and integrate into our country's development plan, so that through trade and commercial cooperations with the mainland enterprises, we can help mainland enterprises tap overseas market. In December, the government set up the GoGlobal platform. The GoGlobal task force was set up in October last year. The relevant bureau chiefs also paid a duty visit to Beijing to have in-depth exchange with central authorities. Now, the Law Society has over 14,000 members. In relation to facilitating exchange with our mainland counterparts and promoting international connectivity, we play a very important role. In relation to the GoGlobal platform, in April this year, Law Society as well as Mr. Chris Hui, the Secretary, met with Professor Chang in relation to setting up a panel of mediators for resolving disputes in commodities trading market. We strive to provide more targeted support. The FS also met with the Professor Chang on exploring the feasibility of extending the mediators list to cover both up and downstream of the commodity trading related disputes, and that a neutral and professional-led mechanism of mediation should be set up. And we will continue to liaise closely with IOMET. Last year, we met with a number of overseas and local delegations. We also had altogether 57 online and offline seminars with representatives from different jurisdictions to exchange views. As of 2025, Law Society of Hong Kong already signed 53 memoranda of understanding with 53 overseas law societies and related associations, so as to tap opportunities of cooperation. In fact, I will join the Chief Executive on the delegation visit in I joined the Chief Executive on the delegation visit in May last year to Kuwait to promote the international advantages of our legal profession. From a legal perspective, during the visit, I introduced to the business and legal sector of Qatar the unique advantages of Hong Kong, including the common law system as well as legal and dispute resolution services for cross-boundary trading. We have international exposure. We are equipped to resolving more complex cross-boundary legal issues. And during the visit, we also signed a number of MOUs to further expand our network in the Middle East and consolidate our role as a super connector and super value adder. These visits could help us tap the pulse of the international community and for the world to let us know for the world to know more about our latest situation, including the robust rule of law as well as various safeguards. I thank the Department of Justice. In March this year, there was also another visit to Shanghai. I hope that the sector will be invited to join the relevant visits to further unleash the potential. In relation to the GoGlobal platform, we will establish a closer connection with the Department of Justice and the sector so as to share information and create synergy. Will also help the sector in promoting legal services by disseminating information in a timely manner through different channels or the platform, so that the profession will have the latest information as well. I thank the Department of Justice for promoting Law Tech, and in fact, on the 17th of June, the Law Society will join the government in holding and also the Bar Association in holding the 5th Law Tech Roundtable activity. Well, this will be an opportunity for us to take forward the development of Law Tech. Law Society has over 130 different committees, with 36 of them covering financial services, IP, and different specialties. So in terms of helping enterprises go global and relevant legal issues, we strive to provide professional support. The Law Society will continue to be the regulator of the profession, so that under one country, two systems, we can continue to give play to our unique advantages and deepen international cooperation, so that we can further support our country in the further opening up process.
Thank you, Mr. Rodentong. I will now give the floor to members. I'll read out the order in which members are going to speak. Mr. Nick Chen, Mr. William Peng, Ms. Maggie Chen, Dr. Thomas So, Professor Priscilla Leung, Mr. Dennis Leung, and myself. We have ample time. It seems I will assign a 4-minute time limit for now. Questions and answers included. Mr. Nick Chen. Thank you, Chair. I first would like to express my recognition of the efforts of the DOJ in setting up the GoGlobal platform. I also thank the support of the Law Society and Bar Association. I can see the panel list is quite diversified. It has over 70 service providers. Of course, we have more than that in the legal sector. I heard Ms. Peggy Ao-Yeung said the list will be updated before the end of the year to expand the list. I want to ask for a more concrete time, first of all. Second, I can see there are different categories under the list. Is it possible for us to adopt the terminology of the National 15 5-year plan, for example, the 6 future industries and 6 emerging industries, to give us better direction? My last question is, will the government regularly submit performance reports that are quantifiable to the council or any other bodies to tell us, say 6 months or a year later, how many success examples are there, and in turn we can identify issues for improvement? Thank you. Ms. Maggie Ao-Yeung. Thank you, Chair. I would like to thank Mr. Chen for his questions and observations. To answer Mr. Chen's question, when we'll update the list, we strive to update the list before the end of this year. I would also like to take this chance to explain the design of the list. In terms of preparation, we take a prudent approach while keeping an open mind. We have issued open invitations to different lawyer groups. We have received very good feedback. We also asked applicants to justify their applications with past case experience. They also need to give presentations of their past achievements. And we asked them to tell us for the specific categories what their experiences are. We have received quite good feedback. As said earlier, we have 70 odd service providers, we have some arbitration bodies, we have larger law firms, we also have the small and medium-sized law firms. In the legal sector ecosystem, it is quite diversified. We do have some firms with less members, but they have very solid experience, which is why we keep an open mind and we want diversity to have the panel list represent a diversified ecosystem in the legal sector. As for the different categories, I think the member suggestion is very good. We'll see if there is any room for adjustment. For the 12 categories, we have already had reference to the latest trends of mainland enterprises going global, such as the high-end manufacturing enterprises, new energy manufacturing, or AI, or different high-tech products. We do want to have the relevant service provider justify the experience. That is the gist of it. We do also know mainland enterprises have different needs for going global. For example, enterprises doing cross-boundary e-commerce, they have their specific needs, so we need to make adjustments. Hopefully, with the panel list and the collection of success stories, they can complement each other to respond to the latest trends in going global under National 15 5-year plan. As for the third question, whether we'll make regular reports about the effectiveness of our work, we do provide matching for legal service providers and companies, but then their dealings may involve some sensitive commercial information or even confidential information arrangements. It may be hard to quantify immediately what the results are. For example, after a matching event, how many matches we made. But we do ask for feedback immediately from enterprises and service providers so that we can enhance relevant activities and events. And when we host activities, we do try to gauge specifically the demands of enterprises to provide matching for them to specific service providers. So I have reservations whether we can quantify the specific results, but I will convey the members' views to our team to see if we can have a more specific report for members to help members gauge the effectiveness of our work. Thank you. Mr. Wu Yingpeng, thank you. I would first like to express my appreciation for the DOJ's work that is very pragmatic and efficient. My first question is actually already asked by Mr. Nick Chen, so I have a comment here. The DOJ will announce at the end of this year the outdated panel list. I hope the government can enhance and promote relevant arrangements. We should have more law firms or individual barristers joining the panel list to match the needs of different client tiers. My second question is about paragraph 26. We have already the collection of success stories, the first batch published, and we will have a second edition. I think with the second edition, we should tell people about some risks associated with going global and help mainland enterprises understand and prevent themselves from falling for certain risks. Thank you. Ms. Peggy L. Yuan, thank you. For your first comment, we will definitely enhance and promote the relevant arrangements. We thank you for your comments. As for your second comment, as for whether we can include some areas for the collection of stories, we do have some overlapping of business dealings, and we think it would really help if we tell them about the relevant risks for the enterprise's risk assessments and for different types of compliance, such as ESG. There is great demand from enterprises for support for such assessments. So, in response to the members' comment, we do want to convey clearly to enterprises the message that they should engage professional service providers early on for their risk assessment and management. We will continue to explore the different aspects after the meeting. Thank you. Ms. Maggie Chen. Thank you, Chair. I would first like to declare an interest. I am a member of an expert committee. My law firm is also on the panel list. I would like to thank the DOJ for actively responding to the needs for professional service providers to provide services to enterprises in going global. I also note in paragraph 30 of the paper, the government is working hard and will work to gauge the demands of enterprises. In the past 2 days, I have worked with the Small and Medium-Sized Law Association and hosted activities providing matching, and participants included enterprises, chambers of commerce, arbitration bodies, etc. We have received very good feedback, but with supporting enterprises going global, we have to understand it's not just us wanting to do this. We have in different GBA cities providing one-stop support at their support centers. So the mainland is moving fast in this regard. I want to ask, with the DOJ-led professional services platform, a one-stop services platform, how can it complement and work with the other service points in the mainland so as to achieve synergy? We have different GoGlobal platforms in GBA cities. For inland enterprises, it would be easier for them to reach out to the service points in the mainland. For Hong Kong services platform, how can it really showcase its edge? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Chan, for her support and for her questions. Now, to take the first one, the DOJ notes that there are different service points in the mainland for enterprises to go global. In our previous activities involving such enterprises, we also considered how resources can be optimally used in collaboration with the service points to perform business matching. For example, Shenzhen is the closest neighboring city, and we do have the one-stop service center with in Shanghai, Shenzhen. Last year, on a pilot basis, we worked with the Shenzhen counterpart with a very good response. The service center helped us find enterprises wishing to go global. We will draw on this model and further enhance the mechanism. In fact, we have set up a communication channel with Shenzhen, and on this basis, we will consider introducing enhancements in the future. Like Mr. Wu just now said, in relation to some specific businesses with high risks or some specific industries with great demand to go global, they may have some common legal issues. And under the same model, we will allow direct face-to-face exchange, and that at these service points an ideal platform can be set up. Now, you mentioned other similar service points in other Greater Bay Area cities. Now, this is something that we have in mind. We'll need to set priorities, however, having regard to manpower deployment and the availability of resources. Now, for example, we may pick a certain location with a service point, and then we will invite the relevant authority of the city in question, and that enterprises with need to go global can then go to this service point as a platform to work with us. So in fact, we do take a multi-pronged approach that applies to different cities as well, with a view to establish direct connecting channels with the relevant enterprises so that they can use our professional services. I thank Ms. Chan for her comments. We'll continue to improve our work. Dr. Thomas So. First, I acknowledge the work of the Department of Justice. I give my full support. I see from this report that there are details in relation to their efforts, including the preparation of the panel list. I fully appreciate that. However, I'm concerned about overlapping of resources. The Chief Executive expressly provided in the Policy Address 2025 that the SJ and the DSJ should be responsible for helping enterprises go global in relation to their need for legal services. In the end of 2025, the CEDB set up the Go Global platform. And then the DOJ in December last year set up the Hong Kong Professional Services Go Global platform. And according to the press release then, the Department of Justice will collaborate with the Hong Kong TDC so as to make use of the GoGlobal cross-sectoral professional services platform to help enterprises access the relevant services. Now, from the policy address, it was clear to me that it was the DSJ who should be the leading principle. But now there seems to be different platforms, one run by the Department of Justice and the other by the Hong Kong TDC. I want to know whether there is synergy between the two platforms. Are there regular meetings to have clearer delineation of work? Now, the second question is this. It's a suggestion, Chairman. In fact, in relation to helping mainland enterprises go global, at the CIIT panel, this is often discussed. And that when it comes to issues relating to the Department of Justice, the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development is unable to answer. Likewise, here, I don't think this question relating to the CEDB can be answered by the DOJ. So how about a joint meeting to discuss this issue, please? Well, let me respond to your point first. In relation to your suggestion, we do welcome non-panel members to join us. That is, all members are invited to join the discussion. But I also note your suggestion on a joint panel. Next, Peggy. Thank you, Mr. So, for your observation and your comments. You mentioned the synergy and coordination with this platform under the CEDB. The CEDB has a GoGlobal task force comprising different members to support the work, and I represent the DOJ. I'm also one of the members of the GoGlobal task force, so we do have very close liaison. We also have the expert committee set up, comprising a representative from the CEDB, so there is good communication under the executive framework. The second point is about the role of our different bureaus. The GoGlobal Task Force of the CEDB is a platform that is more directly serving mainland enterprises. Now, the CEDB's counterpart is the Ministry of Commerce. So the platform run by the CEDB is set up to serve mainland enterprises more directly as they understand the needs of mainland enterprises better. But specifically, in relation to the mainland enterprises' demand for professional services, especially legal services, we need the DOJ's platform because the DOJ's GoGlobal platform is responsible for consolidating the legal service providers in Hong Kong. Now, I'd say that this may not be the focus of the CEDB's task force. Whereas for the DOJ, we're concerned about legal services and other professional services and how these services could help mainland enterprises go global. We share the same goal, and that is to make Hong Kong a world-class springboard in support of mainland enterprises, even overseas enterprises go global. It's in fact a two-way platform. We play the role of helping enterprises expand their overseas business. So we share the same goal, albeit with different focuses. In relation to the relevant dissemination of information on legal services, the GoGlobal platform under the charge of the Deputy Secretary for Justice will be primarily responsible. But there are interactions. Now, let me also refer to the Hong Kong TDC's platform. It's in fact an online platform. And on this online platform. Information relating to the 8 categories of professional services are available, including legal services, accounting, financial services, brand management, testing and certification. Now, coming back to the panel list that we've drawn up, all legal service providers, as well as other service providers, will upload their information to this platform of the Hong Kong TDC. Whereas for our booklet, we provide information in plainer language. You will find details on the DOJ website. At the same time, if you want to have an advanced search and look up more information, you can go to the Hong Kong TDC and search that database. So we're there to support each other, we complement each other so that we can have the most optimal use of resources to support mainland enterprises go global. As for future matching activities, likewise, we continue to complement each other and support each other. Say for the Hong Kong TDC, if they need the legal profession to explain or promote the legal services available, then they can make use of the DOJ's platform and invite our leaders from the legal profession or other professions to take part in the business matching activities. So be it sharing of information or collaboration of platforms, we collaborate with each other in order to create synergy. Any other questions? Let's move on to the next one. I'll wait for the next round. Professor Priscilla Lau. Thank you, Chair. I fully support the Hong Kong Professional Services Go Global platform. I also support the efforts made by the CDB as well as other government departments. Their participation is crucial. Let me share my experience with you. In 2017, I joined some 50 Belt and Road legal professionals in taking forward the establishment of an international legal and dispute resolution service platform. We should not just rely on the judicial system. Now that's because mainland enterprises wished to go global, but they were not very confident in taking matters to the court, and that is why we tapped this market of ADR. In the end, we made an achievement. The IOMET's headquarters have been established in Hong Kong. In 2023, we published 3 books. In 2023, we took it further. We promulgated a set of so-called model rules, because when it comes to business, you need to have a mechanism to resolve disputes, and that is why we need the model laws as well. Now, we've made reference to other jurisdictions. Now, for the first draft contained some provisions. In some countries, they would not enforce your provisions because of religious differences or because of differences in national policies. And after all, it boils down to the local interests. And that is why the GoGlobal task force could run into trouble. Now, my comment is this, Peggy. For mainland enterprises, they would first have come to Hong Kong for exposure before going global. And it is my experience for these mainland enterprises tapping the Hong Kong market, they transferred their wealth here, but they dared not go further. They ran into trouble as well. So it's all about boosting their confidence. We have different culture and different business environment. Things are different. Now, the second comment is this. Apart from the Go Global task force, we also need to consider this. That is, when it comes to the Belt and Road Initiative or any market, will there be experts from these countries to take part in the work of the GoGlobal platform, because we need locals to support us. We as foreigners will not be able to excel as professionals. We need their help. So as we're discussing professional services, we're discussing, say, lawyers. Will there be, say, mainland lawyers taking part in the work so that there is confidence?
Miss Maggie Young. I would like to thank Professor Leung for expressing support for our work and her observations. Regarding her first question, for enterprises going global, we have to instill confidence in them, in our culture, international standards for business dealings. Sometimes it does cause a culture shock for them, which is why we have to be systematic in helping enterprises go global, which is why we have the panel list and the collection of success stories. We believe these are important, and this is long-term work. We need to make sure we have in-depth exchanges. We have great participation from the Bar Association and Law Society as well. We also have other stakeholders' participation, such as the different lawyer associations in the mainland, with in-depth exchanges with lawyers in the mainland. Enterprises and stakeholders can find out more about the common law principles adopted in Hong Kong and how they are applied in disputes, how the legal practitioners in the mainland will be affected with the adoption of such principles. And we do attach great importance to having exchanges with our counterparts in the mainland. We want to have them participate in enterprise matching activities as well as promotion work, so that lawyers and enterprise representatives will be more familiar with our edge in the common law system, as well as in international agreements, investment protection agreements, how they can be used to protect the interests of enterprises. We want to make sure we have exchanges and professional matching so that mainland practitioners are more familiar with these two areas. It is also important to have on-site experience, as the professor said. The Deputy Secretary for Justice visited Indonesia in February this year and had exchanges with Chinese enterprises as well as practitioners in the country. With exchanges, we found on-site experience is very important. And with our contact and liaison, we found that lawyers in Hong Kong played the role of connectors and coordinators. So be it Indonesia, Singapore, or Africa, we had projects where we found that lawyers of Hong Kong became the middleman and performed the role of liaison. I believe we have our unique advantage in this regard in the provision of professional services. We also note some markets, for example, the Central Asian markets. We have an edge because the Xinjiang law firms have relationships with the Central Asian markets, they actually have a very amicable relationship with their ties before. When we want to break into the Central Asian markets, as we have such demand, we can really have some sort of synergy with Xinjiang law firms, and we will make sure to consider this in our future delegation visits to work with law firms in the mainland with different strengths to go global together. I just have a short follow-up, Chair. My suggestion is you have to consider the connectivity of the law firms or individual practitioners to make sure they can provide actual support to mainland enterprises. They can be the middlemen, but we need to make sure to provide services reliably. All right, I remind members to be succinct, whether they're asking questions or answering or giving comments, because we still have 4 members waiting to speak. Mr. Dennis Lang, we have the DOJ publish 2 documents, the panel list and the collection of success stories. How can the DOJ make sure the 2 documents reach more enterprises in the mainland so that mainland enterprises can make good use of the information? My second question is, on top of this panel list for legal service providers, we will have in future some registers in the accountancy and finance sectors. Will the DOJ work with other sectors to have a consolidated list or collection of success stories to enrich the content? My third question is, we don't only want to attract mainland users. Will we try to attract Southeast Asian or even different companies from the world to go global via Hong Kong? Thank you. Ms. Peggy L. Young, thank you. The member's first question is how we can do good publicity work in mainland. Right now, we make use of social media channels such as WeChat to announce our documents, such as the panel lists and the collection of success stories. And for some high-level delegation visits, we would bring such documents with us, such as when we made the visit to Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Justice, etc. We have received very positive feedback. The Secretary and the Deputy Secretary for Justice themselves would give a sharing with the central authorities themselves in the visits. We do try to identify room for improvement still. We want to see how we can disseminate information directly to enterprises in mainland. We are trying to enhance such work. I think this is in line with what Mr. Lang said. We believe with such dissemination of information, we can provide the right tools to enterprises for them to use. The accountancy sector has already promulgated their own panel list. I believe it has already uploaded onto the DOJ website as well. Like we do, they are also striving to improve their list, and we do want to have their stories provided in the collection of success stories, and we have invited relevant bodies in the finance and accountancy sector to provide stories to be told in our collection. We welcome other professional sectors to provide their own success stories for our inclusion in the collection. We also attach great importance to the role of Hong Kong as a two-way platform. We do provide information, therefore, in both Chinese and English. In Chinese, it would be simplified characters. But we also have an English version. We hope that with this, overseas groups can get these information quickly. We will also continue to do publicity work in different markets such as Malaysia to continuously enhance such work. Thank you. Professor Alex Fan. Thank you, Chair. I have 3 sets of comments. Due to time constraints, I'll be quick. We have, like Ms. Maggie Chan said, many service points set up in mainland cities. In Shenzhen, Tianhai, there is a service point. In Shanghai, they also have a GoGlobal platform. And in Nansha, in Guangzhou, they also have a GoGlobal base. I hope the DOJ can take the lead with our GoGlobal platform to make sure we have exchanges with the mainland platforms so that we can funnel more enterprises with specific demands to the Hong Kong platform. And that is essentially a closed loop support model for matching with mainland enterprises. Second, I'm not sure if the DOJ would want to work with Klansmen associations to identify enterprises in the mainland with such a need. I would first like to declare I am the legal consultant for a Hainan Klansmen association. I also note paragraph 30 of the paper said the DOJ is planning to organize relevant matching activities this year in mainland cities where there is a clear demand for overseas expansion, but there is no specific mention of which cities these are potentially. I note in Shenzhen, Shanghai, Hangzhou, Nanjing, and Xi'an, similar activities have successfully been held. So with the selection of the cities, what criteria will the DOJ adopt? Will it include, say, the number of enterprises participating in the exhibition, how much they have registered for foreign domestic investment? We need to make sure we have targeted resource allocations because we have limited resources. Can the DOJ share with us what specific cities they have in mind with where they want to organize matching activities? Thank you, Ms. Peggy Aoyuan. Thank you, Professor Fan, for the questions. For the first question, we have actually similar observations as those of Professor Fan. We do note there are service points set up in different cities. We do want to enhance information sharing, perhaps through more matching. We of course want to allocate resources effectively. Organizing activities is important. We may have a platform selected for that. We have a 1-hour living circle in the Greater Bay Area. We believe with the participation of other GBA cities, we will be able to achieve synergy, so we'll probably go along this direction. As for whether we'll work with Klansmen associations, as Mr. Leung mentioned earlier, we do want to work with some local chambers of commerce. It's just a matter of priority of relevant work and the aims of the relevant activities and perhaps service demand. We'll see how we can match resources to such demands. There's also a point about how resources are to be used. We do know for some cities with demand for overseas expansion, there are 3 main areas in the country: the Greater Bay Area, and then there is Beijing, Tianjin, and then there is also the Shanghai Yangtze River Delta Economic City Group. We have been working more on the Greater Bay Area, and in March this year, the Secretary visited Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Nanjing. And when I shared some success stories with practitioners in the finance sector, they actually mentioned Guangxi is a very good location we can go with because many enterprises want to make use of Hong Kong as a financing platform. We will try to determine the priority to make sure we make good use of our resources. And we may host some activities along with the Trade Development Council. I can share with you some of our preliminary plans. We want to get in touch with enterprises not just in Nanjing, but in the vicinity of Jiangsu, with great demand and potential such as Changzhou, Suzhou, and Wuxi. They are in the vicinity of Nanjing, and they are very much willing to go to Nanjing to take part in the relevant activities. So we'll have very effective use of the resources. Thank you.
Next to speak, Mr. Holden Chow. Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to learn that the DOJ has made progress in relation to the Hong Kong Professional Services GoGlobal platform. The DOJ has also drawn up a panel list. Today, I heard about stories of success. But my question is this. When it comes to DOJ's liaison work with other government departments to help mainland enterprises go global, you will of course know that there is a great demand, but meanwhile, there must also be cases of failure. And that the profession also took part in helping mainland enterprises go global. And as a result, they must have come across practical situations as well. So my question is this. Is there any plan for the Department of Justice to consider for the work of the Go Global Task Force in the future, identifying specific problems in specific markets such as Middle East, Central Asia, Europe, Africa, and it's entirely all right that some businesses do not survive. But what's important is for us to learn why they fail. We must be a proper gatekeeper because we need to know about the cases of failure, because otherwise there may be a backlash affecting the legal profession as well. So my question is whether there are records in relation to cases of failure and whether we did our gatekeeping properly in the process so that these cases can be made known to the public. Right. In fact, I'm going to follow up on the question raised by Deputy Chair in a moment. I'll give the floor to Peggy now. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chow, for the questions. Indeed, this is a very good observation. We need to tell the success stories in order to showcase the advantage of professional services in Hong Kong. Among these success stories, we look for efforts in helping enterprises overcome difficulties in terms of financing, taxation, compliance, so on and so forth. In the process, we note that they have also encountered various challenges. So in the future, we will focus on the challenges facing them, the common problems facing these enterprises, mistakes they should avoid. So be it professional exchange or training, we will place more emphasis on these areas that enterprises are prone to make mistakes, so as to help them mitigate the risks. We hope that by taking this perspective, enterprises may get more benefits in the process, so that they can tell us their problems, and then at the end of the activity they will be able to find a solution. So I thank Mr. Chow for his comments, and this is definitely the emphasis for us in the future. Right, Deputy Chair, any follow-up? No? Now we've heard questions, comments from the two legal professions as well as those from members, and I'd like to offer my comment and observation as well. It's for the administration's consideration. Now this long weekend I went to Shanghai actually. In the 15th five-year plan, there is an initiative for enterprises to first go to Shanghai to set up a regional headquarters before going global. Now they may set sail starting from Shanghai, but then they should go to Hong Kong as their next stop, and then we will be the super connector and super value adder. We will help them go global by providing professional services. We'll take the lead, and we've set up the GoGlobal platform for legal services, and we'll continue to include other professions such as accounting services. Today we've also heard from the two legal professions, and I think we need to consider two things. First, about the positioning of the platform or the list. There is great expectation from the mainland enterprises on our panel list. So I fully agree with what Mr. Thomas So said. As our panel list is extensively recognized, Mr. Nick Chan also mentioned whether we can provide tailor-made services to mainland enterprises, because we have 12 categories, whereas for the Hong Kong TDC's platform, they have a more detailed category. They have 8 broad categories. So we need to see if the services we offer can help meet the country's development plan. That is, for example, in relation to the 8 sectors. So it's about acceptance. The next point is about an observation, and I think this is an issue close to the heart of the two legal professionals. That is, how is the panel list drawn up? Is it by recommendation? Is there any vetting process? Is verification needed in relation, say, qualifications and experience before the service provider is included in the list? Is there any consequence? Because this list comes with the DOJ's logo. Now on the TDC's website, if my understanding is correct, and I stand to be corrected, Peggy, on the TDC website, when it comes to legal services, we see the same list there. And there is also a disclaimer. Now, there are service providers in different fields, accounting, financial services, etc. So I'd like to know more about the positioning of the list. Because some members asked about the effectiveness, the acceptance of the list, and according to the DOJ's response, this is sensitive information, is not suitable for disclosure. But if we just put names of so-called professionals on the list, then we may not know the whole story. We may not know whether these are cases of success. So you need to explain clearly. The fourth point is this about the collection. Apart from collection of success stories, you should also have the collection of lessons learned. That is, you should have a collection of cases of failure and pitfalls so that people can be vigilant against these pitfalls. So for the collection of lessons learned, I think it carries an even greater value, albeit not binding. I think I have just summed up the comments coming from and questions coming from members, and there is also a suggestion from Mr. Thomas Ho whether we can have a joint panel discussion. Now, I've asked the Secretariat to check whether there is a similar discussion by the other panel. In fact, in the beginning of the year when they discussed the policy in general, they already had a similar discussion. So perhaps I will see if they will give it a thought. And also, as their platform involves mostly businesses, whereas our platform focuses on the professional legal services. Let's see if Peggy would like to respond. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your support of our work, and let me respond to your observations about the panel list. Indeed, like what I explained just now, we invited legal professionals to join our list. So it's an open exercise. We take the most rigorous standard as set out in our preamble. And that is, we require the service providers to have good track record in support of the field that they would like to showcase. That is, if we want to join a particular business area, they need to come with good and proven track record in support of the services they provide. And we also have a simple vetting process. We take an open yet prudent approach. We seek to strive a balance in order to showcase the openness and diversity of the list. At the same time, we want to provide a list of specialized service. Some law firms may specialize in some specific areas. We want to cater for both needs. Now, like the Chair's observation in relation to how the list is to be used, we rely on market forces, and it is for the enterprises in question to take their pick. We just offer a tool in a consolidated and expeditious manner so that they can have an easy grasp of the specialties offered by different legal service providers. At the same time, the enterprises should consider carefully in the selection process. This is in line with the market mechanism. As for the Hong Kong TDC website, again, they adopt an open approach. On legal services, the Hong Kong TDC works very closely with the DOJ. The list is provided by the DOJ, in fact, and that the legal service providers are invited to provide details on the Hong Kong TDC website. So this is how we collaborate with the Hong Kong TDC. Deputy Chair and Chair just now asked about a collection of challenges and lessons learned, and in order to help enterprises overcome these challenges, and this is something we will work on in the future. We'll also enhance training and exchange of talents and other business promotion activities so as to help enterprises Go Global, leveraging our common law system and our professional services. All the work are intertwined. We rely on the support of members as well as the two professional bodies.
All right. From what I heard, DOJ understands how the panel list is received by stakeholders and what areas they can potentially improve on. For example, for barristers, we only have 8 barristers on the panel list. We also have under the solicitors category approximately 60 firms on the list. This is what Mr. Chan mentioned. As the two bodies said, they will try to call for their members to support the list, and the expert committee can really take advantage of that for their way forward. I want to ask if members have any further questions, because the next agenda item is in a way related to the GoGlobal platform. I believe with our discussions under this item, it will facilitate the discussion of the next item. All right, I don't see any other members who would like to speak on this item. Let's move on to the next agenda item. The next agenda item is agenda item number 4. I will invite representatives from the administration to come inside the conference room. Agenda item number 4 is proposed creation of one time-limited Deputy Principal Government Counsel post and redeployment of one Principal Government Counsel and one Deputy Principal Government Counsel posts in the Department of Justice. The paper number is CB-3510/2026-04, a paper provided by the Department of Justice. Members who would like to speak, please press the request to speak button. I will ask representatives from the Department of Justice. Ms. Leona Chen, Deputy Law Office, Civil Law, Civil Litigation 1, will give a presentation, or is it Ms. Maggie Aoyang who's also here who will give the presentation? Ms. Peggy Aoyang. Thank you, Chair. I want to thank members for attending the discussion of this item, and we would like to invite members' views on our staffing proposals. There are 2 parts to our proposals. One is to create a time-limited directorate post of Deputy Principal Government Counsel in the Lead Office, Legal Enhancement and Development Office of the Secretary for Justice's Office to take forward the policy initiatives related to going global, and it is at a DL2 level up to 31st of March 2031. The second part of the proposals is the redeployment of a permanent directorate post of Principal Government Counsel from the lead office of the Secretary for Justice's Office and one permanent directorate post of Deputy Principal Government Counsel from the Planning, Environment, Lands and Housing Unit of the Civil Division to the Alternative Dispute Resolution Unit, which is a newly established unit to provide dedicated directorate support for relevant work. Let me first talk about some background information. As pointed out in paragraphs 2 and 4, the relevant global initiatives are set out under the National 15 5-year plan and the policy addressed last year to consolidate different professional services to provide better support to mainland enterprises so that they will make use of Hong Kong as their platform for going global. We have already talked about the initiatives in the last item. Let me give some salient points here. We will deepen the work of the professional services platform, panelist, and relevant enterprise matching activities. Let me talk about why the proposals are necessary. As set out in paragraphs 10 and 11, we have our existing manpower completely depleted for promotion of rule of law education, GBA law promotion. The relevant time limited posts for the promotion of rule of law education will lapse this year, and with the reduction of manpower, we will have serious shortage in directorate support, which is why we need the Deputy Principal Government Counsel post to take forward the GoGlobal initiatives. And with the lapse of the relevant time-limited post, this Deputy Principal Government Counsel will also take over the work on promotion of rule of law education. So why do we need the post to be at the DL2 level? We already talked about the justifications in paragraph 11. Let me talk about some salient points here. One, we would have to have the post holder be the liaison. They will be representing the DOJ to liaise with important stakeholders. They have to be on par in terms of level of possession as the stakeholders. This will show how much importance we're attaching to the stakeholders. It will also help encourage active participation of the stakeholders. The post holder will need to implement high-level strategies and practice cross-departmental and cross-area coordination. The post holder also needs to have the requisite leadership skills to deal with sensitive issues. They need to have a high degree of political sensitivity to overcome relevant challenges. We have talked about in paragraph 30 why alternative proposals will not suffice. We need to have a directorate post, as I said earlier, to take forward the relevant GoGlobal initiatives, as well as to take over the work upon the lapse of the relevant directorate post on promotion of rule of law education. We will make good use of this post. Within the DOJ, there are no other Deputy Principal Government Counsel posts for redeployment. These are important policy measures. We want to make sure we have consistent and stable leadership, which is why we think the creation of this relevant post will ensure effective carrying out of relevant initiatives. The DOJ has already earmarked the necessary funds in the 2026-2027 estimates and will reflect the necessary resources in the future estimates. We believe our proposal is reasonable, and I will let Ms. Leona Chang talk about the second proposal. Thank you, Chair. I will talk about the proposal relating to alternative dispute resolution. We propose to redeploy the permanent directorate post of Principal Government Counsel from the lead office and one permanent directorate post of Deputy Principal Government Counsel from the Planning, Environment, Lands, and Housing Unit of Civil Division to the ADR unit. Right now, the ADR unit the ADR-related services are dealt with by the Planning, Environment, Lands, and Housing PELNH unit, and it is led by a Principal Government Counsel. There are 3 different units under the division or the unit. They have dealt with work giving legal advice relating to Northern Metropolis in different judicial review cases, as well as the amendments made to the buildings ordinance. We have seen the work related to ADR greatly expand from originally just dealing with building management disputes to more policy level matters. And early on, mediation was only applied to building and property management disputes, so it was established under the Planning, Environment, Lands and Housing Unit, but it has become much bigger than what it was before. The ADR unit is now a core unit for promotion of mediation and arbitration policies in Hong Kong. They will provide policy and legal framework support. We have it provide support in legislative work relating to third-party funding arrangements as well as fee structures related to outcomes of litigation and arbitration. They also coordinated the work of Hong Kong Legal Week and the Mediation First pledge as well as Mediation Week, etc. The unit also maintains high-level exchanges with different bodies to consolidate Hong Kong's status as an international dispute and legal resolution services, and it would involve cross-sectoral and cross-departmental coordination. We will have the Principal Government Counsel coordinating the work of 3 units. It has really posed constraints in terms of time allocation. In the long term, this arrangement definitely has room for improvement. To effectively respond to the rapid developments in the area of alternative dispute resolution, the DOJ thinks there is a need to upgrade the relevant group for alternative dispute resolution to an independent unit, and we will have a principal government counsel leading the relevant unit and will report to the civil law officer to promulgate policies, and the redeployed Deputy Principal Government Counsel will provide directed support, and we will have other officers in the existing group dealing with alternative dispute resolution move to the ADR unit. The relevant redeployment will not incur additional costs or would have to create additional posts. It will effectively make use of our existing resources to provide a proportionate and dedicated directorate structure for promotion of alternative dispute resolution in Hong Kong. I hope members understand the importance of the relevant proposal, and if we receive support from members, we will make sure to refer the proposal to the Establishment Subcommittee and Finance Committee for consideration. Thank you, Ms. Leona Cheng. I will ask Mr. Charles Chen, SC, from the Hong Kong Bar Association to speak on the item. Thank you, Chair. Having heard what the 2 representatives from the DOJ said, it really shows how they have considered thoroughly the relevant factors, and they are being prudent. There is a need for the proposal. There is a need for high-level support. The proposals will consolidate resources, and therefore the Bar Association supports the relevant proposals. The Bar Association all along supports the work of DOJ, and I think DOJ officers have so far worked very efficiently, but I think with the 2 proposals, it will help the DOJ effectively take forward the GoGlobal initiatives mentioned in the last item. As we are going along a new direction, we need significant manpower. There's also a need for director support for the promotion of alternative dispute resolution. I have read through the proposals in detail. I think they deserve our support. The time-limited post for the promotion of rule of law education, I believe in future with reviews we will gauge whether the post was effective in taking forward relevant work and was able to conduct high-level exchanges, and with the new arrangements, whether we will have even more effective and efficient work done. The Bar Association supports the two proposals. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next, I will invite Mr. Roden Tong from the Law Society to speak on the subject, and please conclude in 5 minutes. Chair, members, the Law Society basically supports the establishment proposal to enhance the manpower deployment in the Department of Justice, including the creation of one-time limited directorate post of DPGC, as well as redeployment of PGC from lead office to civil division. This shows the government's efforts in promoting legal services and helping mainland enterprises go global. The paper refers to initiatives to support mainland enterprises to go global by providing professional services such as legal, financial, accounting services, and enhancing the understanding of specific needs of mainland enterprises in order to provide targeted support. I fully acknowledge the government's efforts. We need to take forward the policy framework to enhance the overall competitiveness. However, we need to be able to mobilize the professions to take part in the process. The paper refers to this newly created role of DPGC, and there should be a high-level steer and liaison with stakeholders and close communication with professions such as the legal profession and other professional bodies. I think this is pivotal to the post holder. The Law Society further suggests that the government improve the system and consult professional bodies on a regular basis. The government should tap the existing network of various committees in the policy design and formulation process so that the policies drawn up will better suit the needs of the market in order to enhance efficiency of implementation. As for alternative dispute resolution services, the paper sets out a wider scope of work, and there will be continuous improvement of the system and liaison at the high level with stakeholders. On mediation and arbitration, it is crucial that we set up a good system to bolster our status as an international legal and dispute resolution services center. In particular, ADR mechanism is particularly crucial in the earlier stage and the final stage of mainland enterprises going global. We can also provide a credible dispute resolution platform for them in order to enhance the enterprise's confidence in our system. Now, the paper refers to capacity building related to ADR as well as mobilization of the professions. We should also liaise closely with international and local stakeholders, and that means the sector's participation is of particular importance, be it arbitration organizations, law firms, professional bodies. We need their participation to form a good ecosystem. That is why we need to enhance collaboration with the sector as well, apart from creating the posts and improving the establishment. On major policy issues, the government should actively seek comments from the professions in order to encourage participation and create synergy. On the whole, Law Society supports the establishment proposal. We believe this will enhance the implementation and formulation of policies, as well as coordination and execution. And the government should also enhance communication and collaboration with the sectors so as to give play to our advantages. Thank you, Chair. Thank you. We have 4 members waiting to speak. Let me read out the names: Thomas Sokol, Holden Chow, Dennis Leung, and Priscilla Leung. I will give each member 4 minutes, starting with Dr. Thomas So. Thank you, Chair. I fully support the DOJ's proposal to expand the establishment because we work very closely with the DOJ. We understand that the post holders usually hold multiple roles, such as the owner. She has to explain policies to us. She has to go to court as well. So we do need additional manpower. Now let me turn to Annex 4. I'm looking at the organization chart. There'll be a new division called the ADR unit. And then the ADR will be led by a DL3 post holder, that is Principal Government Counsel, to be redeployed from the lead office. But there is only one DL3 post holder in lead office. So after redeployment, the lead office will no longer be led by the DL3 post holder, right? And there is another redeployment, that is the post holder coming from the P&L or PL&H ADR section. Now we do have quite a lot of building management issues, especially since the fire and the new policies rolled out by the buildings department. So I wonder if the redeployment will affect the work in this regard. Now, who from the DOJ will take this question, please? Leona? Yes, the first proposal is to redeploy one Principal Government Counsel at DL3 level from the lead office to the new ADR unit, that is the Alternative Dispute Resolution Unit, under the Civil Division. The second proposal relates to redeployment of the DPGC from the existing Planning, Environment, Lands and Housing Unit of Civil Division, that is PEL&H unit, to the Alternative Dispute Resolution Unit. This is a newly established unit. The scope of work will be transferred to the new unit as well. Now, this redeployment will not affect the work of the PL&H unit because, as mentioned, there are 3 teams, each led by a directorate post holder, and we're just transferring the whole team together with the head of the team to this new unit. The question has been answered, right? Yes, no further question. Next, Deputy Chair, Mr. Holden Chow. I appreciate the manpower redeployment. That is for the GoGlobal platform, a new post will be created. That is a DPGC to cope with the increased demand. And we discussed the matter in the last item, and the DOJ will heed my view and perhaps consider improving the work arrangement. I'm more concerned about redeployment of one permanent PGC from the lead office to the ADR unit. Now, I understand this arrangement, but I'm concerned about the DL2 post holder, that is the Deputy PGC from the PL&H unit to ADR unit. Now, you explained about the 3 teams taking up different portfolios. Still, when it comes to housing and land-related disputes, especially in light of the Northern Metropolis development, I'd say that there is a lot on the plate. On another occasion, I already talked to the Department of Justice as well as the Development Bureau. You also have frontline staff of the Lands Department taking up the work. You need to make sure there is sufficient manpower and professionals who are qualified to do the job Otherwise, there'll be a blunder. I want to make sure, for example, that internal assessment has been made and that this redeployment of a D2 post holder will not affect the work of the Planning, Environment, Lands and Housing Unit. Now, you mentioned the newly established unit of ADRU taking over the work, but still I'm concerned about land development under the Northern Metropolis development. So I'd like to have a response from you. Who would take this question, please? Leona from the DOJ. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member, for the question. Indeed, we have conducted an internal study. I just explained why we need to set up a new unit of ADR, which will be led by a PGC and DPGC to provide directorate support. As for the Deputy Principal Government Counsel post holder, this post holder will be transferred from or redeployed from the PL&H unit of Civil Division. And we are of the view that according to the study, the redeployment proposal will not affect our work on providing legal advice to the planning and land issues. But we'll keep in view the situation and gauge the demand in light of the increased workload. We'll continue to observe and conduct studies. Thank you, Chair. Let me supplement, because there may be litigation surrounding land resumption and Northern Metropolis. I just want to make sure this will not be affecting the work. And also for alternative dispute resolution, we're talking about things at the macro level. That is to promote Hong Kong as an international legal and dispute resolution services hub. That's on another level. When it comes to land resumption related issues requiring alternative dispute resolution services, we're talking about something else. So after the redeployment takes place, of course, you should continue to promote our services at the macro and international level. But when it comes to what happens on the ground, and that is whether legal advice should be given to resolve land disputes through alternative dispute resolution, I want to make sure there is sufficient and suitable manpower to take up this work. Please note her comment. Please note his comment. Yes, we will. Mr. Dennis Lau. Chairman, in this year's budget, the administration proposes a spending cut and recalibration of manpower. So in relation to the creation of this post, I believe this is included in this year's budget. So I have 3 questions. First, can you tell us about the manpower situation? Because as mentioned, some time-limited posts will lapse this year. So exactly how many posts will be cut? And about the spending saved comparing to the expenditure last year, can you tell us the details? The next question is about creating this post to support the GoGlobal platform. Now, I have no comment because, as discussed in the last item, we do need somebody in the lead to take forward the work on going global. But recently, I received a complaint about manpower deployment within the judicial system. That is, say, if you want to submit the document, you line up outside the court, and then afterwards you're asked to go to another department to make payment, and then you get a slip, and then you go back to another queue. I'd like to invite the DOJ to review the situation. Just like the Transport Department in the past, you needed to go to different counters in order to pay and apply for certain documents. Now it can be done at a single counter by a single staff member. So, in the future, can you make sure that all services can be provided at a single counter by a single colleague so that we can save resources?
I believe what Mr. Leung said is under the purview of the judiciary instead of the Department of Justice. On 2nd of June, we will have exchanges with the judiciary. Perhaps you can convey your suggestions and the feedback you got then. I'll now ask the DOJ representative to answer the first question. Well, the question on costs. Thank you. The lead office under the Secretary for Justice's office, when it was established in 2022, it had 13 posts, 8 of them permanent, 5 of them time limited. And we have some posts on promotion on rule of law education, the time limited posts specifically, and they will lapse in this financial year. With our proposal passed, we will have the lead office's number of posts reduced from 13 to 8, including 6 permanent and 2 time-limited posts. So there is a cut to the establishment. For the reference of the member, we do have very stringent controls on the establishment of the civil service. So with our proposal for creating a directorate post, the impact is negligible. Chair, with the reduction of the establishment, will it affect the quality and efficiency of work of the lead office? Right. I understand where the member is coming from. With the office having to take forward global initiatives and the cut to the establishment with the reduction of number of posts from 13 to 8, the member is concerned basically whether the office can still take forward GoGlobal initiatives. Thank you. Ms. Peggy Aoyuan. Thank you. We do have very tight manpower. We do thank a member for his concern and support. We want to strike a balance between manpower needs and controls on establishment. With the lead office, we will see if we can redeploy staff from other divisions or teams to support the relevant work of the lead office. Please rest assured the work of the lead office will continue to be of high quality. So with the promotion of rule of law education, constructing rule of law in the Greater Bay Area, as well as the taking forward of GoGlobal initiatives, the lead office will play a coordinator role for the important policy initiatives. We also have the support from the expert committee and relevant stakeholders, including the 2 legal bodies, the Bar Association and the Law Society, where we hope to continue to have member support in this area. Thank you, Chair. Professor Priscilla Leung, thank you. I do understand we are very tight on the finances, but I think there is need for resources on the part of the Department of Justice and the judiciary, especially when they have serious manpower shortages. Hong Kong attaches great importance to rule of law. We need to implement reforms, and with reforms, they have to start with legislative amendments. Understand the DOJ's need to redeploy staff for promotion of alternative dispute resolution with the work of International Organization for Mediation and GoGlobal initiatives. There is a serious demand for manpower. You may need some volunteers to help you because there is serious manpower shortage. We have also initiatives relating to dedicated legislation as well as adaptation of existing legislation. The work is difficult. If policy bureaus act fast, it would be fine, but we had in the last exercise something from 35 years ago where it's not updated still then. Some of the work may be done by AI instead. We have been calling for the 2% of legislation to be adapted, and we often want 2% cut to the establishment. But then I often say with the DOJ and judiciary, they have a heavy workload of cases to be dealt with. There is really no redundant staff. I want to say here, Chair, if the DOJ considers it inconvenient to tell us about information on your manpower, whether you have enough manpower at public meetings, we can perhaps talk in private. We want to make sure they can do relevant work. I support the relevant proposals, but I do have some concerns still. I want to make clear here, the DOJ and the judiciary should see in their work, especially relating to promotion on rule of law education, they perhaps need to increase the staff count rather than reduce the staff count. Thank you. Ms. Peggy Aouyang. Thank you, Professor Priscilla Leung, for your concern. We thank you for your suggestion. We will continue to review our manpower allocation to make sure we do quality work and continue to take forward policy initiatives to make sure the work is of high quality and high efficiency. Of course, it is hard, but we'll try our best. Thank you for your concern. We also want to continue to have the members' support as well as support from the Bar Association Law Society. All right, it's now my turn to speak. I have some concerns. If we have regards to the figures, we will reduce the establishment from 13 to 8 in the lead office. The office would have to also take forward GoGlobal initiatives. We have had an in-depth discussion for the last item. The lead office will have to take forward the work on updating the panel list as well as the second series of the collection of success stories. They also have to take forward work of rule of law, promoting rule of law education and rule of law in the Greater Bay Area. I think you have to convey members' concerns in this regard. We want to make sure with the redeployment, the lead office will still have sufficient manpower to deal with their work. You may need additional manpower or redeployment of manpower from existing teams to the lead office. Yes, Mr. Holden Chow, you would like to speak for the second round? I'll assign a 3-minute time limit. Thank you, Chair. I would like to take this opportunity, if the chairman would allow it, to speak on certain points. We have specific manpower for the handling of criminal cases. I hope the DOJ will review if we have sufficient manpower in the criminal prosecutions unit. Often the DOJ had to engage fiat counsels to handle criminal cases. If there's insufficient manpower, it can be really difficult for officers. I want to ask the DOJ to review if there is sufficient manpower to handle criminal cases. I would just like to take the opportunity to say this here. Chair. All right, I think the DOJ notes the comments and will convey such comments to their colleagues. I believe from what I heard, members support the proposals, but let me ask again here. Do we support the administration to submit the relevant proposal for the consideration of the establishment subcommittee? All right, none. If there is no other business, meeting adjourned. Thank you.